Hi guys, welcome back to the Nova Collectibles. You notice I'm in a different background today. That's because the pup is asleep on the sofa and I don't want to disturb him. As mentioned, I am ramping up content in this. We're going back to a Monday, Friday schedule. Probably took a bit too much on last year and it sort of fell out the pack, but I've got full-on content plan now, so yeah, we're going to be diving right in. With that, you can expect monthly CGC submissions. We'll get to the point where we're getting monthly returns. I've got some books I want to go out to CBCS, I've got some stuff I want to show off, and I'm going to start doing this, and this is taking a look. We'll do this at the start of a new month, taking a look back at the previous months, the big news, and what the big spec books have been. Now, this isn't necessarily a spec guide, as in stuff that you should go out and buy. This is stuff that has already gone up. I don't like delving into speculation too much because it's so hit and miss. There's channels out there that are much better at dictating speculation and what you should be looking at. This isn't one of those videos. This is more of something you could be aware of, something that you might necessarily you might have in your back issue collection that you've forgotten about, that you might want to move on because it's heating up. It can also serve as a sort of a roundup of what to expect from the comic book world, so to speak. So let us know your thoughts. Keen on taking on any feedbacks, any ideas, and without further ado, we will dive right in. Now, first up is a book that I absolutely adore as a big Nova fan, and Nova is going to be a big feature of this episode. If you've missed it, in March there was a lot of reports that a Nova project isn't mentioned, whether it's a film, whether it's a series, whether it's just an appearance in Guardians of the Galaxy. A Nova project is reportedly in the works. Now, it's not said specifically whether this would be Sam Alexander or Richard Rider or both. Now, that's going to be really interesting, and that's going to dictate what the hot books are in the series. Obviously, Nova number 1 was like 1975 with Richard Rider, but it's the Sam Alexander stuff that is heating up. And there's a few reasons for that, which I'll go on when we're speaking about them. So, first up is Marvel Now Point 1. This is the first appearance of Sam Alexander as Nova, and this is the go-to book if you're specking on Sam Alexander as Nova. This is his first appearance. High grade, because it's so modern. High grade or bust, really, with this. If you're getting it graded, I can't think of the top of my head. I wouldn't really go any lower than a 9.4, maybe even 9.6. That depends, but it is in the last 10 years. So you go down the grades and it's just going to be very cheap. Now, as the first Sam Nova, as I said, the understanding of it and the originality of it is fairly self-explanatory, but I'm going to go over why I think that Sam Alexander might be the choice over Richard Rider. The first one is to fit in with the current development of the MCU. We have seen the Young Avengers get a huge push. Pretty much every TV series that Disney Plus has done on the MCU has teased or introduced a Young Avengers character, going back to the original Young Avengers TV series. Now, it will be shaken up a bit. Kamala Khan, Miss Marvel, doesn't fit into that Young Avengers thing, but she does fit into the Champions. Whether they're going to tie the two together, maybe. Another member of the Champions is, of course, Sam Alexander. So that's why I think he might be the choice there, but there's more reasons for that. And we'll talk about this as we go into the second book. The second book is Nova number 1. This is the first series of Sam Alexander, and it is the introduction of the character and his family. So his parents, Kaylin, his sister, and there was a crucial issue in this series where Kaylin finds the Nova helmet and puts it on, becomes Nova herself, and very young kid. So that's where it could tie into. It's an interesting one because a lot of the times superheroes, particularly younger ones, hide their secret identity from their parents, but Sam's mother knows that he's Nova, and his sister doesn't. But that brings in new challenges as well, so that would be something that the MCU could potentially explore. This isn't a super expensive book. It is a brilliant cover. I absolutely love this cover, but I absolutely love Nova, so I am biased. The third and final Nova book we're going to talk about is Nova number 11. This is the first meeting of Sam Alexander and Richard Rider. Richard Rider, for those who are unaware, died in the comics. I can't remember what one it was in particular, but he died and he was gone for quite a while before Sam Alexander was introduced. Then it was Richard Rider hadn't died. I think that was made clear. Well, the full details were made clear in the original Sin storyline in Guardians of the Galaxy, and then eventually he was brought back. We had a series that was Sam and Rich together. It wasn't brilliant. I will say that it wasn't a brilliant series, and eventually it dwindled down, and that's why there hasn't been Nova series in the past couple of years. Nova, Sam Alexander has just been appearing in the Champions, but it could well be that Sam and Rich meet. This could be how it's put forward, how it passes on. Xandar, of course, in the MCU has been destroyed. We've got told about that off camera when Thanos was collecting the Infinity Stones. So that ties into Nova, and the last remaining member of the Nova Corps, or maybe they're going to rebuild the Nova Corps up. Maybe Richard Rider is going to have World Mind like he did in the Fantastic series that there was. Or maybe not, but Nova is a big spec in March and months gone by. So if you're sitting on these Nova keys, have a look. Moving on is Black number 1. As you'll see the issue here, this is the first issue of a 6-part limited series. There's now been development in March with a writer and director tied with an upcoming Warner Brothers series. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be a huge hit. We see comic stuff picked up for development so many times, and it doesn't necessarily always progress, but the fact that there's a writer and a director attached to it suggests that maybe this is one to watch. This isn't the series that I know too much about, so we're not going to delve in too much into that, but if you're sat on it, have a look. Blue Beetle number 1, first appearance of Conrad Carapex. Sorry if I butchered that. It's not officially confirmed, but there's Blue Beetle reportedly in the works, and reportedly Conrad is going to be the villain of that series, so that's one to watch. And then the next one is a pretty big one, because this is one that has definitely got legs, and it is one that's going to be a crucial series to watch. I'm really interested to see this when it does get released, and it's exciting times. Detective Comics 647. This is the first appearance of Spoiler. Now, Anna Law has been cast in the upcoming Gotham Knights series. The Gotham Knights series is going to get a real push because you've got the TV series coming out, and then it's now been delayed until next year, I believe, is the Gotham Knights console game. Both of which are going to be key ones to watch. Red Hood, Nightwing, Batgirl, Spoiler, all these other characters. It will be really interesting to see, and I'm really hopeful that in the next 12 to 18 months is when DC gets a bit of a spike. Marvel stuff is where a lot of the speculation lies. There's stuff coming out thick and fast constantly. DC is a little bit behind. The DC TV series haven't necessarily had the same spike in terms of keys and prices that something in Marvel would have. You don't really see, like the new season of Titans, for example, doesn't necessarily affect Titans books, and it hasn't been that way. Whether that changes, we'll wait and see. Obviously, DC have been playing catch up on the MCU in this regard, and it's been a bit of a mess. Now moving forward with Batman, you've got the Flash, lots of other developments coming up. It'll be interesting to see how they tied in, but hopefully this will give DC a bit of a push, because it is lagging behind in that regard. Now, something that we have already seen, the first episode released on Wednesday, was brilliant, and I'm really pleased with the way they did it, is Moon Knight. Moon Knight has been a big spec book for a while, and there's a few sleeper ones. One of them is Moon Knight 37. It is the first appearance of Elias Spectre, his brother, Mark Spector's brother, and interestingly, Ray Lucas will be playing the character in the Disney Plus series. It's not key how much of a role he will have, whether this will be a recurring role, whether this will be a flashback, whether this will be an ongoing role, or whether it will just be a single appearance, which is why you need to be careful with these things. I think the most recent series of Boba Fett sort of summed that up for me, because you had a few characters there that just absolutely skyrocketed after their appearances, and it's not necessarily clear where they're going to go long term, so which is why you need to be careful when you're just jumping on a book straight away as soon as they appear. And last but not least, Star Wars 43. This is the first appearance of Lando Calrissian in comics. There is a Lando series in development for Disney Plus, following on from Mandalorian, Book of Boba Fett, upcoming Obi-Wan series, and Ahsoka. There's a lot going on Star Wars at the moment. A lot of the spec books more recently have been some of the more recent series from when Marvel got back the rights to publish comic stories on Star Wars around about 10 years ago. That's where a lot of the spec has been. But the original Star Wars series is, for me, the better bunch. Star Wars 43 is that first appearance of Lando, and interestingly, Donald Glover, of course, played Lando in the rather forgetful film that we had regarding Han Solo. The Solo film wasn't the best thing, but Donald Glover as a young Lando Calrissian was arguably the best part of that series. He has teased his involvement in the upcoming Lando series, so that is one to watch. So there you go, guys. There is 8 books that in March 2022 were big movers, so something to look into. Let us know your thoughts on what you think below. Let us know what you think is going to happen in the next month and what we're going to pick up. And all the likes, all the comments, really appreciate it. Subscribe if you haven't already. Check out the website, vinova-collectibles.com, and I will see you all next time.